Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Live and Leash show. Delighted to be joined by Gemma Murphy this evening. Gemma, how are you keeping?
Not too bad, John. How are you keeping?
I'm great, good form. Congratulations are in order because you are now the FAI Development Officer for Laois.
Yeah, I've taken over just recently for Nicole. It's only maternity leave cover at the moment, so a couple of months to get a bit of work done anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're based in Carlow, but are you still playing with Castle Villa?
No, I'm based in Carlow. I'm originally from Mountmellick, so I used to play with Mountmellick back in the day. Like, that was my childhood club. I kind of moved to Carlow for college and stuff, and I played with Castle Villa then, but I don't think they've had a women's team in about 4 or 5 years now, so I've kind of hung up the boots at this stage.
Really? Yeah. You're not itching to get back at it, no?
There's always kind of an itch there, but I don't know if I'd be able for it, to be honest.
Oh, no, don't say that. I mean, basically, when you have boots, you can travel. I'm sure there's clubs out there that'll be looking for you.
It's finding the time as well, you know, kind of. I do a bit of coaching as well in my spare time, so it's always on the go, you know.
Yeah. So between and are you working with Aero in Carlow as well?
I used to work in the gym there a couple of years ago. I finished up there, so the gym closed down. It was run by the GAA club, but I used to work in the gym. They closed down, and kind of external people came in and took it over, so the GAA club weren't running that anymore, and that was when I went back to college then, when I finished up there.
Now, what did you study in Carlow? IT?
Sports science.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you always interested in the coaching side of things?
Yeah, like, I suppose when I was younger and I was playing, I would have been in and out playing. I've always kind of suffered with a knee problem, so I'd be in and out. And I think when I was about 16 or 17, I took up just kind of helping around the club in Mountmellick a little bit, kind of with the academy and the under nines, and kind of threw myself into a bit of the girls' football there to give a dig out, you know.
And so you caught the bug.
Yeah, I think, you know, I was always football mad from, like, as long as I can remember. All I wanted to do was play football, and then the first time I got injured, it was like shell shock. I didn't know what to be doing while I wasn't playing, so I just kind of went along to a couple of coaching sessions, and I've never looked back, really.
And when you got that first major injury, how long were you on the sidelines for?
I tore ligaments in my knee when I was about 15 or 16, and just every time I tried to go back, it just was never healing properly. So I was out for about a year the first time I got injured. So like, I was kind of more so coaching than playing for the guts of a year. I didn't really go back into playing then until I was about 17 or 18. I ended up taking a year or two out. I just didn't find the time. I'd go back to play. I'd play for a couple of weeks, and I'd kind of feel the niggle again, and I'd pull back a bit. So playing when I was a teenager wasn't really the main thing, like, because I got into the coaching, and then if I just felt the niggle, it was easier to just go back and be on the sideline and coach a little bit.
And how far up the coaching ladder are you now, Gemma?
I'm just waiting to do my final assessment on my B licence. So with COVID struck, so we're kind of, you know, the last session is a pitch session, so hopefully the restrictions will lift and I'll get that done this summer.
Brilliant, well done. Yeah, we're all dying to get back either on the pitch playing, watching, or in your case, finishing off. Or is it just the next step in your coaching education? Do you want to take it even further?
Well, at the minute, so like the B licence I started in November 2019 was when I had the first block. So I feel like this has kind of been going on for a long time. It's been really good. The coach education department have kind of kept us in check. Like, we've got a Zoom every 5 or 6 weeks, and we do a few more bits just to kind of keep us ticking over till we get back. So I'd like a break afterwards, just to kind of, you know, get on the pitch and put what I've been learning into practice. So, you know, in the last year, no one's really had that much time on the pitch. So most of the stuff I've learned is kind of sitting on the shelf waiting until we get back. So I'd say maybe a year or so of practice before I move on again.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of clubs in Laois, around Laois, that would want to be your guinea pigs.
Oh, look, I'm absolutely delighted with the job and I'm dying to get in and help all of the clubs that want me to help. I'm itching to get going.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're basically coming home in a sense, Gemma.
Yeah, like my family and all are still in Laois, so like I would be there quite a bit. And you know, like I played with Mountmellick for years and I coached with Mountmellick for years, so I'd know a lot of the guys in the club there, and it's been nice kind of getting back in touch with them and just, you know, letting them know that I'm here now and I'm there to help, and just getting in contact with a lot of other clubs as well, and just kind of seeing how everything is done in Laois, see what I can do to help.
And how can people, clubs, players, wannabe coaches, how can they get in touch with you, Gemma?
So the first thing I did when I started was I sent out an email to most clubs. Now I know a lot of the secretaries and stuff, they're probably not, you know, looking at the club email as much as what they were when there was football happening. But I've reached out to all of the clubs and given my contact details and told them all if they need anything they can contact me. So I've gotten in touch with a good portion of the clubs, and we're working on coach education to get stuff running up and running for, you know, new coaches coming into the club, stuff like that. Working on club marks, trying to get a few of the clubs over the line with their club mark that they've been working on. There's plenty of stuff going on without actually being on the pitch, so just giving them that little bit of help to kind of get where it is they're trying to go before they get back on the pitch.
Absolutely. And talking of getting back on the pitch, we're talking maybe a month away. Would that be right, Gemma?
We don't have any of the details yet. You know, that's all. It's the government's, their restrictions. So once they're announced, it feeds down. So far, we're preparing for the 26th for non-contact training, and until the government say otherwise, that's all we can prepare for, and just be in place to help the clubs wherever they need it.
Absolutely. Now, I was on your Facebook page, the FA Laois Facebook page there earlier today, and of course you had the safer return to play protocols up there. So we're edging towards the day when we're getting back training and playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you know, it's a small step. There's still a lot of people there that are itching to get back that won't get back for another while. But, you know, it's great that the kids can get out now, get a bit of fresh air. And, you know, we're working on putting drills and stuff in place to, you know, give out to clubs so that they have kind of booklets on non-contact training. So, you know, it can seem a little bit daunting when you go back trying to figure out how you're going to keep, you know, 5, 6, 7-year-olds entertained with non-contact, but there's plenty of resources available anyway.
Absolutely. But it's just the last 13 months has really hammered home, well, for me, and I'm sure for a lot of our viewers, how much we actually miss it.
Oh, like 100%. Even coming up to the first lockdown, like I was working away with college work. I was working with a couple of different teams. I was working with the Carlow League. And at that time, before we went into lockdown, I felt like I was probably doing too much and needed to have a break. And then since we went into lockdown, I've just been thinking, I don't know why I ever thought I needed a break.
Yeah, it's gone to the other extreme now. It's either a feast or a famine.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, kind of, I don't think anyone with coaches, especially, you know, especially underage coaches, they often kind of do be thinking to themselves going home, like, what did I get myself into? How did I get myself into this situation? But definitely after being away for so long, the first time back on the pitch, no one will be taking it for granted anytime soon.
No, they won't. Nobody will. And looking around the county, I mean, there's a lot of good news. I know everything's on hold until hopefully next month. But a lot of good news. I mean, Collection and their new facility down there. I mean, it's lovely. It's great to see it.
The all-weather pitch in Collection is absolutely fantastic. I've been on it a few times. It's really, really nice. And their clubhouse, they're like flying away with that. Once that's up and running, it'll be a top-class facility there. It's in a nice location as well. It's not in the town. There's lots of parking. They have the grass pitches as well. Like it's great to see.
It's great to see. And I know the Wexford Youths, the ladies team, were being coached there.
Yeah, they were training there. So I think they were training within the college last year in IT Carlow. I'd say just with the restrictions and stuff, the college was closed. So they moved out to Collection now. I don't know if they're still there. But definitely, like it's a brilliant facility. So it's great that the club themselves can kind of draw in big clubs like that and generate a little bit of revenue for themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And looking around, I know you're only a couple of weeks in the role here in Laois. I mean, looking around, I mean, are there enough ladies and girls teams out there, or would you like to see more? What can be done to increase the number of girls playing the game?
Look, there's always going to be room for more women's and more girls teams, and I think a lot of it is just we need more buy-in. We need more kind of female coaches, female role models, and it's great lately with the Women's National League is getting so much coverage. So it means kind of young girls now are seen all over, like RTE, all over Facebook, all over Instagram. You're seeing all of these female footballers, which you wouldn't have ever seen as much of before. So just kind of getting the message across that you can go and you can play for Ireland. Like you look at Ellen Malloy, she's 16 years of age, like, and she's got 4 international caps. So young girls are looking at that and they're thinking that's something I can strive towards, and it gives them something to aim for. Whereas when I was a kid, like, I didn't even know there was a senior international women's team. I just thought it was the men's team. Like, so that visibility for young girls is definitely going to have a domino effect, and over the next coming years there'll be a big demand for underage girls football, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's more visible now. I mean, even the national side, I mean, unfortunately, they lost 1-0 against Belgium the last day out. But you can watch the games now, whereas even a couple of years back, it was impossible to actually get to sit down and watch the games.
Oh, they're so easily accessible now. And, it's great that RTE and even the new platform from the FAI, like, is brilliant. Like, I've seen more Women's National League games in the last 2 weeks than I ever have in my life. Just sitting at home, like, it's great to be able to throw them on the telly, because that's not something that they've ever had before. And it's great for the girls that they're getting that exposure now. And again, it'll have a knock-on effect. I've seen on Facebook during the week, so St. Felix, a club in Great Cullen, we're doing player profiles. And one of the underage girls players, when asked who her favourite player was, she said Kylie Murphy. And
brilliant.
I've never really seen much of that before. It's always, girls are always saying, like, players from Liverpool, players from Man United, that they're their favourite players. But it's great to see girls having a female role model, which is kind of unheard of before now. Like,
absolutely. And even in the field of analysis, to see the likes of Stephanie Roach doing the analysis on RTE, it's a big step up from where we were even just a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, Stephanie Roach, Karen Duggan, Chloe Mustaki, like, they've had a good contingent of girls in doing commentary on both female and male games. So it's good to see that they're not just bringing in girls to cover the girls' games. They have girls in covering men's games as well. And I think I seen Stephanie Roach on Premier Sports as well, covering a Premier League game not too long ago. So even that, for, like, the players, giving them kind of a career path to follow on to as they finish playing, is not something we would have ever expected to see, I don't think.
Yeah, it's great to see. I have to say, Stephanie's analysis is always spot on. She's very incisive. Obviously, it goes without saying, I mean, to play at the level she's played at, she knows the game inside and out. And then away from the girls' game, I mean, across the county, I mean, is there more that could be done for example, for facilities? Gemma, I'm looking at Portneash in particular. I mean, we're crying out for a 4G pitch. We really are.
I think, with the weather that we have in this country anyway, clubs can only benefit from 4G pitches. There's a lot involved in getting from the planning stage to the finish stage. I know a lot of work went in behind the scenes in Collection, and it takes an awful lot of drive from the club and a lot of community work to get there. There's GoFundMe pages, lottos. I think to all facilities around, like, the country, not just in Laois, could definitely do with better quality pitches. I know from my playing days, you could go up to a pitch and it's on the side of a mountain, so you're on a slant plane, and you don't know what you're going to get when you go to pitches around the country. And having even kind of regionalised top quality pitches would be excellent for everyone. It's just, there is an awful lot of work involved on a committee level for each club, and then planning permission and having the space. And then a lot of clubs, if they've only got the one pitch, it means they're out of action for, it can take up to 6-7 months to get a pitch finished. So it requires an awful lot of planning, which if clubs are willing to put in the work and the effort, like there's always going to be someone that's willing to help them. And, Collection got over the line with their club mark recently, and the Castle Development Officer helped them. And if I'm lucky enough to be in a position to help a club, I'd be more than happy to do everything in my power to help them as well.
Absolutely. And what's involved, Gemma, with the club mark scheme?
So there's two different levels of the club mark at the moment. The first level is the entry level, and that's based around clubs governance. So it's just making sure that clubs are up to standard with their child welfare and safeguarding. So that's legislation now. It's a legal requirement that anyone working with someone under the age of 18 or someone that's considered vulnerable is Garda vetted and has completed safeguarding workshops. So it's just making sure that everyone in the club are meeting these regulations, and then making sure that their structures are in place. So they've got a proper committee in place, they've got proper recruitment policies in place, so it's not just anyone can walk in off the street and coach. We work towards making sure that we get the best people in working with clubs. So it's all just governance really. So we help clubs, kind of have a club legislation sort of in place that they can then follow. So they've got guidelines for recruiting, setting up teams, stuff like that. Then the next level is all about kind of on pitch stuff, and we look at having more qualified coaches within the club. So each team will have like an age appropriate coach with them. So it's helping get clubs up to a higher standard so that we can develop kids properly, develop players properly, and just have a more smoother running of everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and the fact that you're on the ground and can help clubs with that would be brilliant.
Yeah, and we do, like, we're trying to help as many clubs as possible at the minute. Some people will have an awful lot more free time at the minute with everything that's going on, and there's a lot of people in clubs that are working really hard. It's not an easy thing to get. There's an awful lot of work that goes behind the scenes to get the club mark over the line. But there's a lot of people that are interested in it now, and there's rewards for it. Like there's webinars run specifically for club mark clubs, stuff like that. So they get something out of it after all the work they put in as well.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. And speaking now, let's switch back to your beginner club, your home club, Mountmellick United. And speaking of pitches, I remember back to late last summer for the Counties Cup final. They hosted the County Cup final. The pitch that day was immaculate. And to be fair, anytime I go over there, there are two pitches, the main pitch and the back pitch are always of a standard. And really, going around the different clubs, wouldn't it be great to get up to that level, even with just grass pitches?
Oh yeah, look, and Mountmellick are very fortunate. They've got the two pitches there, and there's Smithfield it's not too far, it's just behind kind of Conor Davis Park there. Yes. That they can use for training as well. So, clubs that have more than one pitch are fortunate enough that everybody's not on the one pitch all the time, and I'm not going to say easy to maintain, but easier to maintain. And in fairness to the lads that do all the work in Mountmellick, even from when I was younger and I was playing in Conor Davis Park, the main pitch was always kept immaculate. The back pitch always required a little bit more work, but they always put the work in.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is with Smithfield, I was always wondering why there isn't a little gate linking Conor Davis Park and Smithfield. It'd be lovely, just a little shortcut.
Yeah, it'd be very convenient, all right.
It would.
You could use the dressing rooms and then go across to the training pitch.
Yeah. But it's great to see that. I mean, basically, isn't that the basic that you require from a club? Well-maintained pitches, the dressing rooms, so the kids, they're looked after right. They have the facilities.
Yeah, look, it's great when you see clubs get into that place, and some clubs can manage it more than others. Smaller clubs that wouldn't have the finances, it is hard. And in fairness, any of the clubs that I've dealt with over the last year or two, even outside of my job now at the FAI, like they've all been looking to improve their facilities and put as much money into the club as possible to develop it to a certain standard, to make sure that the players that they have locally want to play for the club, they want to keep coming back. And all of the local clubs have come a long way. When I first started playing for Mountmellick, we played in Smithfield. That was the only pitch that was there, and it was a container on the side, and sometimes you couldn't get into it because sometimes they just get ruined, like vandalism and stuff, and you'd be kind of getting changed in the back of someone's car beforehand. And it's great that clubs have come a long way from that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that progress has been made. And how long will you be in the job?
So I've got a minimum of, so I'm there until at least December. So I suppose it all depends on what happens after that. I'm preparing just to get as much work as I can done now between now and the start of December anyway.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And like coming to the summer now, I mean, I haven't seen it in the newspapers or on social media. Like when we do return to play, are the leagues, what's the word with the leagues? Are they going to run a shorter summer league and then start back in September into their normal winter season?
That'll vary, I suppose, with the leagues. It'll be up to their preference. So, they'll be given they'll have the option, depending on when we get back, if there's time for them to finish off their seasons. Now, I know like some leagues play summer league and some leagues play winter. So it depends on what stage they were when they finished and how much more they have left to go, like with the different amount of teams. So that's going to be on a league by league basis. And, it all depends on when we do actually get back to playing a competitive game again, because we're all still very unsure of when that's going to happen.
Absolutely. But Gemma, it's a nice problem to have to figure out.
Yeah, look, I think when we get back, most people are they're going to want to get on the pitch and they're going to want to play. But, you have to be careful as well. Rushing into games straight away, like it'll lead to some unnecessary injuries and players missing out again. So I think once you get back, take time, readjust to playing again, and just enjoy the game before you worry about trying to get back into a league again. Absolutely.
I think they'll all enjoy it, because I mean, it's to think we've gone so long without it. It's really hammered home. I'm like a broken record on this, Gemma. It's really hammered home how much we've missed it.
Yeah, and at the beginning, when the Premier League were showing nearly a game every evening, it's like, oh, you won't miss it too much, it'll be on the telly. But now you're getting bored of watching it and you just want to get out on the pitch. You
do, yeah. Especially now when the evenings are longer, the weather is getting a bit better.
Yeah, you're looking out the window on a lovely sunny afternoon, and all you can think about is kicking a football. And look, it's great because you see an awful lot more kids now. They're out on the roads and they're playing street football, which they never did before. So hopefully that'll stand to them when they get back, and they won't have missed out on too much. Absolutely.
So fingers crossed we can get back soon. So Gemma, thanks I know you're busy out with your different roles, but thanks for taking the time out this evening to chat to us. If it's okay with you, if we put up the link to the Facebook page?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've only started up the pages to kind of try and connect with the clubs in the area and stuff. So the more traffic I get, the better. I can keep as many people informed as possible about whatever's going on, coach education wise or player programs once we get back on the pitch.
Yeah, and because there's so many clubs to reach out to. I mean, you're going from Clover United down in Rathdowney all the way over to Arlington in Port Arlington.
There's a lot of clubs, and although Laois is kind of small, it's still a big area. There's a lot of clubs and there's a lot of distance between them. So, as soon as we can get back on the pitch, I'm dying to just get around and meet people. And I've spoken to a couple of people from different clubs. I've been invited for tea and coffee everywhere once we're allowed back, and I just can't wait to take people up on that offer.
Absolutely. You won't be home basically for the summer.
And look, I won't mind because I've been at home for long enough now.
Absolutely. We all have, Gemma. So Gemma, lovely chatting to you this evening. Best of luck in the new role. I know you're going to have a great impact on the game here in Laois. I know the clubs are going to learn a lot from you, gain a lot from your experience, and hopefully we all have a wonderful footballing summer.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And to our wonderful viewers, whatever sport you're playing this summer, enjoy it. I know I will. Bye for now.